It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Villanova head softball coach, Bridget Orchard. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college softball?
Honestly, I was just looking for a job. I played here from 93 to 97. When I graduated, I knew I wanted to get into sports. I got my master's in sports administration. I was working in the athletic department here at Villanova as an intern. The Cabrini College job opened up for a head softball coach, and I applied for it. Just needing a job. Obviously, I loved softball because I played it, but I really hadn't got into the coaching side of it. And then once I took the Cabrini job, I fell in love with softball coaching and the players and the whole athletic industry. And it took off from there.
What was it like playing at Villanova as a player?
It was awesome. It was awesome. It was even, fortunate for me, I was able to take over for my coach that was here. So Coach Maria DiBernardi was my coach here, and she retired is actually who I replaced. So it was really cool coming into that atmosphere, being in the situation. But playing here, all my best friends were my teammates. They're still my, best friends to this day. Actually, my maid of honor at my wedding, her daughter is now a freshman here at Villanova. Not a softball player, but it's just so cool to kind of see it come full circle and just to continue to have all the friends and the teammates that continue on.
What was that experience like of putting on that Villanova blue softball jersey?
It's just awesome. You're representing the university is always just super cool. And even traveling, being on the road and wearing the Villanova stuff and just, being proud to wear it and just being part of this amazing community.
During your time playing softball, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
I think the biggest thing for us, we won the ECAC back in the day. So our pitcher, Tina Sabunis, who's now in the Hall of Fame here at Villanova, she pitched unbelievably. We went up to Boston College and we ended up winning. We ended up ending our season on a win, which was my junior year, which was really cool because usually the only team that can end on the season on a win would be the national champions. But this was kind of a postseason tournament that wasn't the NCAAs, but it was just really cool to kind of take home that trophy and have that championship.
What was your experience like after your time at Villanova getting into college coaching?
It was awesome. So like I mentioned earlier, I took the head coaching job at Cabrini College. I was, 22-year-old head coaching kids that, were like the same age as me. Most of my seniors were, 21. And I was recruiting kids. And it was awesome just because I feel like I was in touch with them because, again, I was their age. And then I went and took the head coaching job at Fordham University. So I've never been an assistant coach. I've only been a head coach. So my journey kind of way different than everybody else's. So I really kind of learned and made mistakes and learned by the seat of my pants and kind of screwing up along the way. And I learned a lot from a lot of different people. So I was there. I did Cabrini for 4. Then I was 17 years at Fordham, and the job opened up back here at Villanova in 2019. And I was able to take that, and I've been here since. So it went by really fast, but it has been a while, I guess.
Of course, as you said, what was that like, obviously not getting to be an assistant coach, but going straight to head coaching straight out of college?
It was awesome, and it was a great experience. I was able to kind of make my own decisions and do things I look back at now. And I'm like, wow, that was crazy that I did that. But I made my own rules. And I think that I've learned to kind of lean on a lot of people. Like I've had great support staffs between, my family, my parents, my assistant coaches, administration. I've just been around a lot of great people. So I've just learned over the time, I think, to lean on people. So my style really isn't like my way or the highway. It's like, I'm going to learn. I still learn today from my players. They're 17 and 18. And I'm going to ask them what I can learn from them. And I feel like I'm learning all the time. I think that has to do with, being the head coach and having that vulnerability to ask for help, because I had to ask for it a lot.
Of course, during your time at Cabrini, what was it like, obviously, also coaching the U.S. international team?
That was really cool. So we got to go over to Germany, and I was able to bring 3 of my Cabrini players with me. Actually, one is the head coach now at St. Joe's softball over here in Philly, Aaron Brooks. So I took 3 of my players with me. My dad went with me as an assistant coach. We got to travel around Germany, and play against some great international competitions. Again, we were young. It was fun, great experience. We were over there, I think, for 2 weeks or so, competing and playing, and we actually ended up winning one of the championships.
Of course, how did your U.S. time obviously help you into where you are now as a college coach?
It was awesome. I think any experience you can get, coaching different athletes from different areas, it's awesome. So they put an all-star team together. So I, was tasked with the force of, really coaching girls I didn't get to know too well. I didn't recruit them. I think anytime you can do that, you can kind of learn from them. It definitely helps your path.
What was it like going to Fordham?
That was awesome. So my brother played, I have a brother who's 2 years older than me. He played basketball there when I was at Villanova. He was playing basketball at Fordham. So I knew the university, obviously, from a student perspective, because we would go visit him and watch his basketball games. And then the job opened up. I felt really comfortable taking that job, even though it was in the Bronx and a lot of people were worried kind of about the area. But I loved it. I was super excited to get in there, get in New York, and to be in the Bronx. And I think that was just a great atmosphere to me to get my start. I got to start there, and I love being the underdog. And I think a lot of people doubted us. They didn't know if we could, recruit girls, softball players to come to the Bronx and play. And it was awesome just proving everybody wrong.
How was that like, obviously inheriting that program and now making it a winning program?
It was awesome. It's all credit to the girls. I feel like I've been talented, but I've also been, lucky in some situations, just getting some great players who work hard and committed. And again, as a coach, it's really about the girls, about the players and what they bring to the table. And, every day I'm grateful that I had those awesome players.
What are some of the things that you did, obviously, when you got the job and you knew about their losing record, but then you inherited a winning record for them?
I think the biggest thing is we try to just look forward. We weren't looking in the past. We're just going to look forward, and we're going to focus on each day and every day and just showing up and giving what we had every single day. And I think at the end of the day, after a few years and the girls started to buy in, they started to believe, I think that's what really catapulted us to the next. And once you're winning, that's going to recruit other winners and people want to be part of it. So once we kind of got winning, it made it a lot easier.
During your 17 seasons during Fordham, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
Definitely our championships. We went on a run there where I think we had, 7 or 8 Atlantic 10 championships in a row. One of the highlights, I think, at the NCAA, making it to the NCAA tournament and winning some regional games, big for us. We knocked James Madison out of their own tournament when they hosted the regional. We were able to get a pretty big win, beat them. We didn't get to supers because we had lost to NC State, but I think for our program, just being able to go there and play on a national stage and beat some of the bigger teams. We beat Florida, we beat Texas A&M, we beat some big programs. I think for Fordham coming out and being able to do that, just kind of putting us on the map was huge for our program. Obviously the A10 championships were the highlight, but I think also proving to the country that we're able to play with some of these bigger schools that have more resources, more talent, more money, bigger budgets. It was just kind of cool to see our girls step up.
What was that experience like of, obviously, you said you knocked out James Madison at home when they were hosting it?
It was just great. Our girls just rose to the occasion. Again, it was all for the player. They believed in themselves. They had the confidence. Obviously, we had talent, but at the same time, I think it was more mentally. They weren't going to lose. They refused to lose. They got after it. They were ready to play, and they came up with a big win.
Of course, what was that feeling like when you came back home to Villanova to become the head coach after your former head coach left?
It was so cool. It was like family. It was definitely a family move. So I have 3 kids. I have a junior and a sophomore in high school, 2 boys, and my youngest daughter, Isabel, is in 6th grade. And when we moved here, they were in 3rd, 7th, and 8th. So I think moving them back here was a challenge. They didn't want to leave New York, but when they got here, they really, really love it now. My husband's also a Villanova grad. We went to school here together. So kind of more it wasn't even really on the field stuff. It was more off the field, being able to bring my family back here closer to, my mother-in-law lives around the area. My sister-in-law lives in the area. So just being back on the main line and being on campus again is an awesome feeling.
Okay, of course, did you ever know that you always wanted to come back to Villanova to coach?
No, honestly, no, I didn't think I'd be back. I really, I loved it at Fordham. I thought I, could stay there forever. I love New York. I love the university. I loved everything about it. I really didn't plan on moving or think that I was going to come back here. And it kind of, the pieces fell together here with Mark Jackson being the AD. He had reached out, thought he had a great vision for the program. He was really excited about it. He wanted to win. He was a competitor. And, I trusted him and believed in his vision, and he was able to make it work.
What was it like in 2021 laying down the groundwork to obviously build upon your former coach's legacy?
It's cool. Like I said, being an alumni myself, it really makes it even more special because my teammates are backing us and supporting us and, sending us messages, whether via email or phone calls or, text. So it's just kind of cool that we're making them proud. And again, making Maria DiBernardi, who was my coach, making her proud is really important to me as well. And I know she's super excited for us and she's done so much for her years that she was here building this, and to be able to take over and, help make this program a national contender is awesome.
Of course, as you take over, what are some of the things that you've built upon, obviously, the culture of what was already there?
I think the biggest thing is just getting the girls' mindsets, getting them to believe and trust in each other, and obviously believe and trust in me, and kind of what our vision is for the program. I think that's one of the big things we had to lay down with them, and how they're going to make it happen, and just getting them to understand that, we're in it to win it, and our expectations are that we're competing for championships. We're not just happy getting there. We're expecting to win. So I think once they bought into that mindset, they realized that it doesn't just happen. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to do stuff you've never done before. There's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of commitment that's involved in it. But at the end of the day, you're going to come out with a championship if you do all of these things.
Of course, when you first became the Villanova coach, what was that feeling like of obviously getting to play some of those teams that you played as a player, but now coaching against them?
It was really cool, especially, UConn got added into the Big East. They were in the Big East when I played back in the 90s. Then they stepped away for a little bit to the American, and now they rejoined the Big East. So I think it's always been a rivalry for me. So being able to play against them as they came back and, beating them for the Big East championship last year was just kind of another, special treat for us because they had always won. When I was a player, they were consistently winning the Big East. And so to be able to come back and beat them was kind of cool.
What was that feeling like of obviously going back to your alma mater and not obviously on the field, but on the sidelines and coaching?
Like I said, it's just kind of an unreal experience, just being able to know that I'm representing just not myself and my family, but my fellow teammates and my alumni and, really everybody at Villanova University.
Who are some teams that you face in the Big East Conference, and what is it like obviously coaching back in it?
Again, like I said, like UConn, DePaul wasn't in it when I played, so it was just kind of cool when I came back. They were the big dog here. They had won, I think, 3 or 4. They've gone to the World Series. They've been in the Final 8 in the country. So being able to step up and play a team like DePaul that has that experience, their head coach now was the pitcher in the World Series, years ago. But it was just kind of cool to play that level of competition. The other schools, obviously, local rivals being like St. John's, Seton Hall, Providence, and then you go out west where you have Butler, Creighton. So it's kind of spread out. I mean, there is the Big East, but got Georgetown's fairly close by. So we do have the trips up to Butler, Creighton, and DePaul.
What is that feeling like of obviously getting to coach against UConn and Butler?
It's awesome. I mean, we really try not to look really at who we're playing. We want to play, our game. We want to play, Villanova softball. So we talk to girls a lot about just, showing up and doing what we need to do. I mean, we'll scout the teams we're playing and we give them scouting reports and we know who we're playing against, but we try to kind of have that mentality that, we're going to respect all, we're going to fear none.
What does the recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes looking to play college softball?
It's been crazy and it's changing. It's fluid. I think with the COVID, it's really hurt kind of the class of 2022s, which are seniors, and class of 2023s that are juniors, just because we do get those COVID years back. So this year we were fortunate enough to be able to bring back Angela Giampaolo and Paige Rao, who are grad students. So all of our 22s are eligible to come back. Our 23s are eligible to come back. So what ends up happening is it hurts those high school kids because we're able to keep some of our girls that are here. So you're going to see bigger rosters, from, not only Villanova, but the other universities that are keeping some of their players that lost that year to COVID. But typically the recruiting process, starts pretty early. We'll go out and watch games, and we don't really recruit anybody that we haven't seen live because we recruit all summer. Now we're recruiting in the fall even. But we'll go out, we'll watch games, we'll contact coaches, find out more about them, get to know them as a person, get to know them on the field, off the field. And then at the end, we'll bring them to campus, get them to meet our girls, see if they click with our players. We're real big on, obviously, like you mentioned before, our team culture, making sure they fit what we're looking at and they're going to fit our style of play on and off the field.
How has obviously being an alma mater of the team and now being the coach helped you in the recruitment process of advocating for Villanova?
I think it's big, obviously, because I've been here, done that. So when I say, like I would come here, obviously, I'm not lying. I did come here. So I think that's one of the big things, knowing that I've been here. I know the university, obviously, it's worked out well for me and my family. So I think that it helps, be more genuine in what I am trying to sell the school.
What are some of the things that you look at in these prospective student athletes when you're out on the road?
I think the biggest thing for me is the mindset. We need kids that are gritty, that are competitors. I mean, the biggest thing I look at is winners. I want kids that have won, even if it's not in softball, if they've won in basketball or if they've won in a different sport or they're just used to winning. I like that mentality, which means that they're working hard and they're training and they're getting after it. So we really try to look at their mindset and their competitive drive. They really need to love the game. You come into play Division I sport, you're gonna have a lot of ups and downs. We need kids that are gonna battle through that and fight through it.
What does the official visit look like for prospective student athletes looking to go to Villanova softball?
A lot of it depends on what time of year they're coming, but we try to obviously for Villanova, Jay Wright, men's basketball. It's a great scene. We try to bring them to a men's basketball meet if possible with COVID again the last few years. Obviously, since I've been here, it's pretty much been, I had a first season and I've dealt with COVID the last 3 seasons. But ideally what we would do is we'd bring them in. We've actually brought them to Midnight Madness before, which is the basketball preseason. And it's exciting to have, somebody a concert usually comes in or a main artist. Great experience for the players, come in, obviously meet our girls, stay overnight, go to a class if they can, tour campus if they watch a practice. And we kind of leave it up to the recruits, what's more important to them. Do they want to see more of campus life? Do they want to see more softball workouts? We have, morning workouts at 7 a.m. Some opt to come to 7 a.m. workouts just to see us train and what we do kind of behind the scenes. Some want to see a day in the life as far as what the classes look like, class sizes, meet the teachers. So we kind of leave it up to the prospective student athlete, what's important to them, what they want to see.
What is it like as head coach and as the alma mater of obviously getting to see them put on that Villanova blue jersey and feel at home in the same jersey that you felt at home in?
It's just awesome. I think that one of the big things for our girls, they know that they've been training a lot of our recruits coming in, they've been working so hard to get here. They've given up a lot of their summers to play travel softball, given up a lot of events, given up a lot of things and sacrificed to be here. So I think for them, it's just cool to see that, they've made it, they've been here and they put that uniform on for the first time. It just means a lot to them. They've earned that and they've accomplished it. So it's just really exciting to see them live out that experience.
Of course, as head coach, what is that like for you seeing them obviously get to put on that same jersey you put on?
It's awesome. It's just an awesome experience.
What are some of your future plans for Villanova softball?
We want to just compete. We want to contend. We want to be in every game. We want to be on the national scene. Our goal for this year is, get to that NCAA tournament, win another conference championship and kind of make some waves on the national level.
What does a typical game day look like at Villanova?
Pretty much we used to play a lot of double headers. Now we play single games. We do 1-1-1. So on a game day, the girls they'll have their breakfast. We'll do a pregame warm up, a stretch. Our strength and conditioning coach come out, work them out, just kind of stretch them out, get them loose, get them ready to go. Pitchers start warming up. We'll do a pregame hit around, do some infield, outfield, and then we start our game. We're good to go.
Of course, as coach, do you have any game day routines and rituals that you have to do before the game?
Me and my staff are pretty superstitious, so we definitely try to keep things the same all the time. Unless it's not working, then we'll try to change it up a little bit. But as far as doing, we pretty much do the same thing. All of our games, as far as what our routine is going to be, what our pregame is going to look like.
Of course, as being an alma mater of Villanova softball, what does that feeling look like on game day? Each game day coming out on the field, knowing that you're obviously coaching your alma mater.
It's awesome. I mean, the girls give the V's up at the national anthem, and you can just tell the pride that beams off them and their families and all the fans that come watch us. It's just cool to kind of be out there and display, the V and be representing Villanova.
What advice would you give future high school athletes looking to play college softball?
Keep grinding, keep working hard, don't take a day off. They're really up against a lot of competition, nationwide. I think softball is a growing sport and people are starting to play more and more and more, but I really think that they need to, make sure that they're staying on top of their game and that they're working really hard in the classroom as well.
What advice would you have those future college softball players looking to go from playing college softball to playing professionally, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, the NPF, or obviously going to the Olympics?
I think that obviously that's a huge step. And we have Paige Rao on our team that probably is capable of doing that. And I think it's just a matter of, sticking to your game plan, playing it out and seeing if good things can happen from there.
What advice would you give those future college coaches looking to get started in the industry?
Networking, working hard, connecting attending, our National Fast Pitch Coaches Association conference, anything that they can learn. I mean, I'll constantly be on the computer and learning new drills, watching other people's practices. If you can go to coaching clinics, always be on the move, just really kind of learning every day because the game is evolving and changing. Now we're getting more into technology, and learning some of the new technology stuff that's coming out. So I think for the younger coaches, they have that advantage of being really computer savvy and understanding the analytics, and baseball's big on data analytics now. It's kind of transferring over to softball. So I think the younger coaches, I know for me, helps me a ton having the younger coaches coming in, understanding how to use some of that information we didn't have in the past.
What advice would you give those college coaches looking to go like how you did and go back to your alma mater to coach, whether it's being an assistant coach or a head coach, just like you did?
I think it's just taking advantage of the opportunities, and a lot of it's, really being in the right place at the right time, so you kind of keep your eyes and ears open and keep working, keep making good decisions for yourself, and, hopefully good things will happen.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Villanova softball program?
Yeah, so I have my own actually Twitter account that's just Bridget Orchard, and then we have a VU softball Twitter account that's just at VU softball. That's our Twitter. We also have a Nova softball Instagram, so it's just at Nova softball, and that's on our Instagram. We also have a Facebook page, and obviously our website, which is just Villanova, www.villanova.com, which you can go to our website. They just recently put out a thing on all the players, their rosters, their bios, pictures of everybody. So there's a lot of places to kind of follow us online.
Thank you again, Coach Bridget Orchard, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Villanova as the head coach at your alma mater.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Bridget Orchard, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.